Hello, it's Grandma. Are you ready for Grandma's story time? I've got my story bag here. It's my bag with purple circles and golden elephants and blue circles and golden elephants and red circles. And it's my bag where Peter lives. Peter, my puppet. Here he comes. Oh. You're happy to see everyone again? Oh, you're clapping your hands. It's good. They got back Winks and they got back Chinky. Yeah, but Winks did smell a bit bad for 1 or 2 more days. Yes, Peter and Molly soon have to go back to school, don't they? Do you think they might have one more adventure? Oh, you hope so. So do I. Let's get the book out. What chapter are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We're up to chapter 24. Peter can go. Bye-bye. Peter can go back in his bag. Put on your glasses, Grandma. And let's read Enid Blyton, The Wishing Chair again. We're up to chapter 24, The Island of Surprises. You know, Molly said to Chinky, we've only one more day before we go back to school. Mother has already sent our clothes.
Oh dear,
said Chinky sadly.
The holidays have simply flown. I do wish you didn't have to go to school.
Well, we love being at home, but we really do love school too, said Peter. It's great fun, you know. It's so nice being with so many boys and girls who are your own age. I'm awfully glad we do go to boarding school, really, though. Of course, I'm sorry to say goodbye to Mummy and Daddy, and you, and the garden, and Jane, and the wishing chair, and everything. We never went to the land of goodness knows where, said Molly. I'd love to go before we go to school. Wishing chair, you might grow your wings quickly, said Peter, looking at the chair standing quietly in its place. You really might. And dear me, for once the wishing chair was most obliging and began to grow them. Unfortunately, the children didn't notice that it was actually doing what it was told, and they went out into the garden to play. They're missing out. Will it fly off without them? Oh. The next thing that happened was the chair flying out of the door of the playroom, its wings flapping strongly. Luckily, Chinky caught sight of it. Oh, goodness knows where it would have gone by itself. He felt the swish of the big wings and looked up. The chair was just passing by his head. He gave such a yell that Molly and Peter jumped in fright. They turned to see Chinky making a tremendous leap into the air after the chair. He caught one leg of it and held on.
Help! Help! Come and help me, or the chair will fly off with me like this.
However, the chair went down to the ground and allowed Chinky to sit properly. Molly and Peter ran up eagerly. Gracious, whatever made us leave the playroom door open, said Peter. The chair might have flown off anywhere and not come back. We really will have to get a watchdog for it.
was lucky. I just saw it,
said Chinky.
Well now, shall we go to the land of goodness knows where or not?
Is there anywhere else you'd like to go? The children couldn't think of anywhere else, so the chair was told to go there. It flew off in the right direction at once. It was a lovely clear day with hardly any cloud at all. The children and Chinky could see down below them very clearly indeed.
Go lower, chair,
said Chinky.
We'd like to see the places we're flying over.
The chair obediently flew down lower still, and then Chinky gave a shout.
Look! There's Winks, isn't it? Winks!
It was too. He saw the chair and he waved madly.
Shall we take him with us?
Said Chinky. Well, it's his last chance of coming with us for a long time, said Molly. We said we'd let him come with us once more, didn't we? Before he goes back to Mr. Grimm's school. We'll take him. So they ordered the chair to go down to the ground to fetch Winks. He was simply delighted. He clambered onto it at once.
Did you come down to fetch me?
He said.
It's so nice of you. Well, actually we weren't fetching you,
said Chinky.
The chair suddenly grew its wings, flew out into the garden, and I just managed to grab it in time. It was a bit of luck catching sight of you like that. Winks, you must try and be good today. Don't spoil our last adventure by being silly or naughty, please. We're going to the land of goodness knows where. That's a silly land,
said Winks.
Why don't you go to somewhere more exciting, like the land of birthdays, or the land of treats, or the land of parties, somewhere like that.
They were just passing over a big blue lake. They came to an island in the middle of it, and as they flew over, a surprising thing happened. Fireworks went off with a bang, and coloured stars burst and fell all around the chair. It was startled and wobbled dangerously, almost upsetting the children. Gracious, said Molly. What a surprise! What island is that?
Oh,
said Chinky in excitement.
I do believe it's the land of surprises, isn't it, Winks? I really think it is. Yes,
said Winks, peering down.
It is. Look out! Here comes another rocket or something.
My word, what a lovely shower of coloured stars. Can't we go to this island? Said Molly. Chinky, let's go.
Right,
said Chinky.
Mind you, the surprises might not all be nice ones. But if you're willing to risk that, we'll go. Of course we'll go,
said Winks.
Chair, go down to the island at once, please.
Down went the chair, dodging another rocket. It landed on a patch of green grass, which at once changed into a sheet of water. The chair almost sank, but just managed to get itself out in time and flew to a little paved courtyard.
First surprise,
said Chinky with a grin.
We shall have to be very careful, you know. Winks, you mustn't be an idiot on this island. You'll get some unpleasant shocks if you are.
Can we leave the chair here? Said Molly doubtfully. It would be a rather horrid surprise if we found it gone when we came back for it. The chair creaked and flew close to Molly.
It says it's not going to leave us,
said Chinky with a grin.
Very wise of it. Right, Chair, you follow us like a dog and we'll all be very pleased.
So the chair flew behind them, following closely. The first really nice surprise came when they saw a table set out in the sunshine with empty dishes and plates in a row. The children, Chinky and Winks, stopped to look at them. "Is there going to be a party or something?" said Peter. A small goblin came up and sat himself down on the form by the table. He stared earnestly at the plate and dish in front of him. And hey presto, came a large chocolate pudding, and on his plate came a big ice cream to match. He began to eat, beaming all over his ugly little face.
"Ooh,"
said Winks at once, and sat down at the table. And so did the others. They all stared hard at their dishes and plates. Molly got a pile of sausages on her dish and some fried onions on her plate. Peter got a big trifle on his dish and a jug of cream on his plate. Chinky got strawberries on his dish and found his plate swimming in sugar and cream to go with them. They looked to see what Winks had got. That bad brownie, of course, had been tricky as usual. He had put 2 plates and 2 dishes in front of him. But he wasn't looking at all pleased. On one plate had come some steaming cabbage, and on the other 2 prunes. The others laughed.
"A pie with nothing in it? A cake he hates? Cabbage and prunes! Oh, Winks, what a horrid surprise. It serves you right for being greedy,"
said Chinky. Winks was cross. He stood sulkily while the others tucked into their exciting food. Molly was sorry for him and offered him a sausage. The next surprise was also a very nice one. They finished their meal and suddenly heard the sound of loud music coming from around the corner. They hurried to see what it was. It was a roundabout. There it stood, decorated with flags that waved in the wind, going round and round, and music playing gaily. Oh, how lovely!
"How much is it to go for a ride on the roundabout?"
asked Chinky, feeling in his pocket.
"Oh, nothing,"
said the pixie in charge of it.
"It's just a nice surprise for you. When it stops, get on."
When the roundabout stopped, the children saw that there were all sorts of animals and birds to ride, and each of them went up and down as well as round and round. The brownies, the goblins and pixies who were having their turns got off, and the children, Chinky and Winks, looked to see which animal or bird they would choose to ride. "I'll have this pony," said Molly, who loved horses and always wanted one of her own. She climbed onto a dear little black pony. "I'll have this camel," said Peter. "It's got 2 humps and I'll ride between them." Chinky chose a snow-white gull with outstretched wings that flapped as the roundabout went round. Winks chose a big goldfish. Its fins and tail moved in a very lifelike manner. Winks cut himself a little stick from a nearby hedge.
"Just to make my fish swim well on the roundabout,"
he said to the others as he climbed on. Is he going to hit that fish?
"No whipping allowed,"
shouted a pixie in charge.
"Hey you, no whipping allowed."
The roundabout started off again. The music blared gaily, the animals, the fish and the birds went round and round and up and down, flapping their wings and fins, nodding their heads and waving tails. It was all very exciting indeed. And Winks was disobedient. He whipped his goldfish with his stick. "Gee up!" he cried. And then he got such a shock. The goldfish suddenly shot right out of the roundabout through the air and disappeared. The roundabout slowed down and came to a stop. The pixie in charge looked very angry indeed.
He whipped his goldfish, and I told him not to. Now I've lost the goldfish, and my master will be very angry with me.
Oh dear, said Molly, getting off her pony. I'm so very sorry. Winks did promise to be good. Where has he gone, do you think? Then there suddenly came the sound of a terrific splash, and a loud wail came on the air. That's Winks, cried Peter, starting to run. Whatever happened to him? That's the end of the chapter. Oh, Winks, you've got to just do the right thing. It's really simple. You're told no whipping? Don't do whipping. Don't even cut a stick. And where's he gone? Come back tomorrow. We need to find out what happens to him. Bye-bye.